Samson Tech or Samson TAC, Rapper, KEK, and Push to Main. So a huge congratulations on these teams for making it to the top 5. We're super proud of you guys, but also a huge congratulations to everybody else who's put together an amazing pitch. It was tight. And in that case, awesome. We'll just ask you guys also to be on mute, particularly as we head into the final round. So if these teams could first and foremost just get their slides ready, because we're going to transition basically directly into the presentations. So if just amongst yourselves, you can ensure that you have your slides and the nominated person who will be sharing screen are decided amongst yourselves. A huge congratulations to the final 5. And I'll pass on to Nishmi to get us started on our final round.
Awesome. Thank you, Gabby. So we're going to start off with baby chicks presenting first. Sorry, baby birds. So whenever you're ready, you can start sharing your screen. We'll stop sharing screen and you can begin your pitch whenever you're ready. You'll have 6 minutes to present your pitch, 2 minutes of Q&A and 2 minutes of feedback again. And we'll have our lovely judges, our 5 finalist judges presenting and asking you questions and providing you some feedback at the end. So whenever you're ready, you can start sharing your screen and we'll head into it.
Yep, sounds good. I'll share my screen right now. Can everyone see it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
All right, is everyone ready? My baby bird friends, are you guys ready?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, excellent. So we can just get started. Okay, cool. So hi, everybody. Just a warning before we start. We'll be talking about mental health issues and there may be potentially triggering words. But thank you for joining us. We're Team Baby Bird and we're super excited to show you our solution to an overwhelming problem that is growing in our society, a problem that we hope none of you can relate to. So last month, Lifeline recorded a record of 3,505 calls in one day. This was a 40% increase and the highest daily number in the organization's 57-year history. And unfortunately, the number of support workers is not keeping up with this demand. This means that people who need to contact a support worker experience long wait times despite having access to multiple mediums, for example, web calls, web chats, calls, and in-person sessions. However, we believe that every second is critical when a life is at stake. So yesterday, we reached out to our friend, a crisis support worker at Lifeline, and discovered that this wasn't the only barrier to receiving help. In addition to delays, help seekers are often unsure about which helpline to call, with many generally preferring the shortest waiting line. And we also discovered that some help seekers call helplines for information or referrals that can be effectively resolved online, adding to the queues and making it more difficult for urgent calls to be prioritized. People don't want to fill out long forms or browse large directories for what they need. And so now Chris will take you through what we believe could bring great value to society.
Yep, so our solution is a user-friendly and easily accessible bot, which engages in conversation with the user until their situation is resolved. So whether they're reaching out for a helpline or simply wanting to know the best resources for the current hardship through our centralized directory. We combine this with machine learning, which is designed to provide a more personalized experience than other online alternatives and developed to adapt to the ever-changing mental health space. Assisted by a call queuing system, our solution works to cut down the amount of time the user spends waiting for a call, as well as diverging less relevant calls elsewhere, thus aiding crisis support workers and reducing the amount of overwhelming load for the helplines. So this is how our solution works. First of all, help seekers interacting with the bot are triaged out if they mention having suicidal thoughts. Relevant helplines are suggested immediately and sorted by the shortest wait time in this scenario. While the users are waiting to be connected, if their issue can be resolved outside of a call, our bot will continue to engage with them and provide useful resources. So I'll be demonstrating this process now. So when we open our app, the user is prompted to share their feelings. And for example, if I'm not feeling the best state of mind, I'll just go ahead and type this. And as you can see, the bot will return some authorized helplines and ask if I have any preferences. So I'll just say no in this case. and it returns the helpline that can give me the help fastest. And in the meantime, it will engage with me just to keep me grounded and also in just to provide more information. So I'll say elaborate. So as you can see, even though I had heaps of typos just there as well, the bot returns offering some resources that the user can have a read through or just continue to talk to the bot while they're waiting for the call to be picked up. So now I'll pass it on to Nina.
So what does this mean in terms of architecture? Well, we're all on the cloud, so we're scalable and extensible to immediate future reorganizations and expansions. Our tech stack is made of React, Python, and SQL, and we only make a single API call to Microsoft Azure's bot service for data, which means we're readily accessible and expandable to everyone. We'll be rolling out our first product as an MVP chatbot, which will be first safely tested by support workers, and then we'll release this beta and gain trust with our partners throughout this time. By next year, we will have implemented call queuing, worker training, and an escalation system. Thank you. Would you like to go next, Eugenie?
Fantastic. So how are we going to fund this project? Well, partnerships are our most promising short-term source of revenue. Our bot is designed to incentivize mental health organizations to partner with us. And government grants and donations are two proven methods of revenue where both Lifeline and Beyond Blue receive significant funding from each source. In terms of the resources that this bot will consume, our resource management model predicts that we'll break even next year in March and we'll begin making revenue in July next year. We'll also be hiring a developer and marketer with the hours required shown there. We've also considered some potential risks. The most likely risk is that mental health organizations aren't comfortable partnering up with us. And we'll mitigate this by prioritizing features which incentivize a partnership, as well as rolling out an initial beta version to gain trust and credibility. Another potential risk to a successful rollout are concerns with how help seekers will feel about using an online bot. So alongside the recent studies which indicate bots are feasible, we'll also be testing it with a small group of end users before an official rollout. I'll now open it up for Q&A.
Awesome, perfect. Thank you guys so much for that presentation. I will now be passing it over to the judges to ask a couple of questions about your pitch. Anyone, would you like to start us off?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Thank you for that pitch. I really enjoyed it. I've got a couple of questions. I might just ask one, and then if time allows, I'll ask the others. So you plan to do a test with a small group of end users, right? And your entire business is predicated on the assumption that people will feel comfortable talking to bots in a mental health crisis situation. What if that doesn't work? What is your immediate response? What are your possible pivots? And how would you effectively salvage your business plan?
Yeah, that's a great question. I might take this one. So first of all, we chose a bot because we looked at all of the research available, and there have been similar bots which don't necessarily do this, where it's a neutral resource base for people who need help, but it's a bot which communicates to people. So there have been a lot of research which proves that bots are an effective medium between a balance between an online resource, which is just a lot of information, and calling someone. So that's why we chose a bot in the first place. And if we go back to the product roadmap as well, we'll first be engaging and consulting with support workers to really understand our customers first and our users. And then we'll be rolling out to a small group of people. So we are going to have a kind of dynamic roadmap in place. So depending on what feedback we receive from first support workers who understand people, and then help seekers as well, we'll modify our solution.
Thanks.
Yeah, I have a question. Yep. So I know the bot from Azure Microsoft is a pretty generic bot. Is there any plan to use machine learning to get your own data and train your own bot to sort of include also the sentiment analysis, or even people can just talk to your app and convert that voice into text? I think that would be easier for the patient or anyone to use instead of just typing. I know when people are depressed, they don't normally want to type. They just want to find someone to talk to. So I'm just wondering if you have that kind of plan.
Yep. So as you've heard, we've had our 3 triages, and one of them is actually just keeping the user in core and like constantly reassuring them and helping them. Currently, we only have a bot which understands natural language processing and tries to respond and gives back the best recommendation of helpline available. However, we already have a sample in place of how to change negative words into positive reaffirmations. And now this machine learning model uses feature hashing, latent Dirichlet allocation, and basically we can give back the correct reaffirmation depending on that. So sentiment analysis, it's sort of similar, but it will give the correct and same results of, you know, a happy user.
Yeah, thanks, Nina. And I'll just add on to that as well. Because we're only 4 people as well, and we're still students. We also intend to hire a developer as well with more artificial intelligence knowledge to help us expand on this, because we know it's very important.
Yeah, I just want to know this is expandable. That's all I want to know. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just one question about the business plan. You said you're going to be hiring a developer. Is there any plans to hire any like trained mental health experts, given that your chatbot is going to be talking to people that are in crisis?
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now on our timeline is to hire a dev and a marketing staff. We will be engaging with support workers as well. And if there's the instance where we do also need to engage with them in a kind of regular part-time or full-time instance, then we will also look to hire them, and we'll factor that in. This is just our current predicted estimation based on talking to support workers and feeling like we were able to get enough insight just by talking to them without employing them. And that's why we've come up with this prediction.
Great, thanks.
Were you able to do any sort of market analysis to see who your competitors might be, or who you might be able to partner with you know, set of capabilities beyond what you have or even planning to have?
Yeah.
So I can take this one to start off. So with our competitors, we do have a couple listed here. So these aren't our competitors, but I guess the main one would be Find a Helpline, which does a sort of directory thing where they collate all the helplines and resources. But the issue with that we find is that it's not very interactive and that it doesn't keep users very engaged. So because it is like more like a wiki space, the user maybe say, if I'm not in the best state of mind and I need help immediately, I don't want to be flipping through all these web pages, trying to skim through the information and figure out for myself what might be the best solution. I think in a solution that helps, like with our bot, that can determine how they're feeling and finding the best helpline or resource for their situation would be good in that case. I guess one of my other teammates can talk about the partnerships we can use.
I'll just add to this with competitors as well. So Find a Helpline, it's a directory, as Chris mentioned, and it also doesn't prioritize or sort by the waiting time. So our bot is going to, give a queue number, and it also will tell you Beyond Blue or Lifeline right now has the shortest queue, and that's why we recommend for you to contact the service, and that's not something Find a Helpline does. In terms of partnerships, as we are working with Beyond Blue and Lifeline helplines like that, we are freeing the support workers up and helping them work on higher urgency cases. We believe that's a strong use case for them to partner up with us.
Okay, and if there's time for another question, why are you the best team to go after this problem?
Because we're the baby birds, and we're the only team with an emoji that was so good it could not even enter into the Slack channel name thing. So yeah, we go through every single barrier like an chip. Thank you.
Okay, and more seriously, about your sort of your talent, your expertise, your passion. What is it?
I'd say our team has a good balance of different experience and passion as well. So we've got people who are very technical. You might have realized, Nina. I feel like I'm more on the business side of things. And we are also young people who are very passionate about this issue.
Yeah, and furthermore, I think the biggest thing that's most important in this industry is empathy, and we have a lot of that, and we have this desire to make sure that mental health support is accessible, especially in tough times such as these. And yeah, that's that. Baby birds.
I think sorry, just to add on to that as well. I think eventually, like our whole team, we agreed that like we don't really want people having to like use this app. Like it's only something like if people are using this app, we are assuming they're in a situation where they're not feeling too like happy or
Really
like
sorry,
they're going
but
through
we
hardship.
just run out of time for the Q&A.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
That's all good. We might just move on to the next team now. So the next team that'll be pitching is going to be Samsung Tech. So whenever you guys are ready, you can share your screen and deliver your pitch.
Thank you.
No worries, that's all good.
Thank you guys.
Hello, I'll be sharing my screen now. Let me know if you guys can see it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, everyone ready? All right. So, good afternoon. My name is James, and I'm the front-end developer, and I'm here with Yvette, our financial analyst, Antonius, our back-end developer, and William, our business analyst. And we are Samsung Tech, here to present to you the International Business Finder, or IBF. Now, according to the 2021 Australia Productivity Commission report, the COVID-19 pandemic has caused widespread workforce deficits, which have led to extreme product shortages and delays in manufacturing and distribution. The rising cost of raw materials has made it harder to find suitable suppliers. The most popular supply sourcing methods currently include online searching, using directories, as well as industry events and exhibitions. However, all of these options are very time-consuming and inefficient. So, as a search for suitable supplies is done using a set criteria, it can thus be converted into an efficient protocol using software. Our solution is an application that automatically conducts a search for suitable raw material supplies based on the criteria that the manufacturer provides. And as we're moving to the clouds in the future, Safe Search is to best fit providers, and recommendations of suppliers that they should contact are easily accessible to the manufacturers. So now I will pass you on to Antonius for the MVP demo.
Thank you, James. So now I'll just be talking about the prototype for our product. So what our product essentially does is we just help customers to source for manufacturers easily. So now I'll be showing you the code, the program that we have created for ourselves. So what we have here is actually the login page for the customers, so where they can log in or just sign up. So looking here, this is the registration page for the manufacturers where they can insert their company names, choose the supply type that they produce, and also their preferred subscription type, the pricing range, as well as the industries that they specialize in. And furthermore, they can also add keywords to help further improve the accuracy rate of the search engine. Okay, so since we have platforms for multiple users, but due to time constraints, we'll just be showing you the platform for our customers. So now once we log in, the customers will be directed to the dashboard where they'll be able to see the overall account information, the potential suppliers, and as well as their search credit, which refers to how many search they can get. And so the main benefit of our product is actually the supply finder, where the customers can search for suppliers based on these details to meet their needs. So let's just search for construction again. And once submitted, they'll be redirected to the past searches page. So this page just consists of all the previous searches that they have done. So let's say we go to search ID number 5 and view on click result. So what this does is it'll compile all the manufacturers or all the suppliers that actually meets the criteria based on their search result. And what we have done further is also we have created a similarity function. So what this does is we have tabulated our algorithm to actually calculate the accuracy of the search based on the previous details that they've inputted. That's the basic gist of our product demonstration. And now I'll be passing on to William.
Yep, thank you very much, Antonius, for the demonstration. Looking at the application from another perspective, our strengths include simplicity, facilitating relationships, and enabling contingent sourcing in the future. Our weaknesses include that the initial launch requires investors, but we have opportunities for the future to utilize the search function for other types of supply vendor relationships, such as enterprise resource planning. And on to the next slide. Our current rollout strategy is to deploy the platform as a cloud application and later create a mobile equivalent once the system is successfully completed. We will be utilizing the increased social media consumption of the lockdown period to reach out to customers and utilize roadshows as a professional approach to finding suppliers. Next slide, please. And within the technical implementation, we did mention that the goal for future iterations was to use cloud because it's more scalable. But in the business aspect, the Department of Industry, Science, Energy and Resources has revealed that there is over 100,000 manufacturing businesses in Australia. And these businesses add up to an overall market size of over $100 billion. And this also has a great growth in 2021 of 9.5%. I'll pass this on to Yvette to look at the financials.
Thank you, William. Now I'll be going through the financial analysis. IBF takes low-cost, high-volume pricing tactics that charges $45 per month and $450 per year for supplier subscription fee. For SMEs, we offer one free search per company to ensure that they're satisfied with the search quality. And then we charge $35 for one search, $60 for two of them, and $85 for three. In general, IBF has a very bright side on revenue generation of 95% of annual growth. We will reach break-even in the second year of operation, which will be in May 2024. However, a capital injection of $140,000 and $45,000 from angel investors will be needed in the first and second years. In return, we will offer 30% of our ownership stake, which can pay off the investment in 4 years. After our finalized phase in the first 5 years, mobile application and overseas marketing expansion will be in future iteration. Never again will you wasting time searching for suppliers when you've got IBF. And now we are opening for questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So we'll pass it over to the finalist judges to have a go at asking a couple questions. We'll start off with Rahul. Did you have any questions?
I don't have anyone right now, so I'll let the other judges ask.
No worries.
So I wondered, sorry, I'll yield to someone else.
Sorry, Samuel, you go. I'll go after you.
Yeah, I was just quick one. What is the superpower that you're giving your users? What is the thing that you're doing really, really well and solving it in a way that no one else is solving? What is that one thing that people would want from you?
I can take this question. So essentially searching for suppliers right now, as we've mentioned, there is no software that does that for manufacturers or any vendor supplier relationships. Everyone just, the best way that was recommended was to go online or to local business directories to find suppliers. And we thought that being able to automate this process through just inputting your manufacturing requirements into a search within a database of suppliers is more efficient. And I think that's our main value.
I have a follow-up question on that. So I don't really understand how much value this product will add as opposed to a manufacturer doing their own research for the suppliers. So I understand that this adds value in ranking the suppliers based on some metrics, but beyond that, the manufacturer still has to carry on the rest of the workflow themselves. Is there some more places where you can automate? So for example, to place an order preemptively or to have some more automation beyond the part where the ranking has already finished?
So the way we save the way the manufacturers get the results is through saved searches instead of say like a document. So having done multiple searches before, they could just go to their past searches and they would instantly get results instead of having to do a brand new search for something they've looked for before.
And to add on to William's point, the saved searches also updates automatically. So even though let's say they have made a search like a few months ago, so if they reopen the search now, it'll be updated accordingly. And actually, the main benefit is not just for the manufacturer. I feel like our product serves as a two-way street for both the suppliers and the consumers. Firstly, the consumers, they'll be able to source and just compare all the different type of manufacturers rather easily, because looking for manufacturers can be something that is rather tedious and just time. It's just time consuming, so it'll be not as efficient. And for the manufacturer wise, they'll be able to expand their customer range and also like broadening up their target audience.
So I've got a follow-up on that, right? I think I used to work in manufacturing, and some of these tedious processes exist for a reason, like the going to the actual plant to look at whether they can meet your capacity, checking their quality, checking their standards, checking that they've got ethical manufacturing techniques and procedures. Some of these things can't be done necessarily online, or it's hard to do it online. How do you propose to innovate away the actual need for people to see each other and to actually visit the place?
Yeah, so from what we study, it's actually, we understand that the process for funding vendors of any kind is very complicated, very time consuming, and cost inefficient. So in this case, we thought we can't automate the entire procedure. Of course, there needs to be some human to human interaction and also site visits, as you said. But in this case, for our solution, we thought, oh, we could maybe automate something, maybe like a small step, just a small part of this procedure, just to make it more efficient, just to add to that little bit more of efficiency that we could get out of this process in an otherwise very long and tiring process for the company.
Awesome. Sorry, I think we might just stop there for the Q&A. Judges, do you have any feedback that you'd like to give this team?
Yes, I do, because I really wonder, how you can exploit this metric, because, well, I mean, you haven't told us how you're sort of building it, but you're creating a marketplace. And I feel like there's a lot more to leverage there than perhaps you even realize, including things like network effects. And, today for, say, credit, credit worthiness, we don't have to present all our documents to the banks all the time. They just look and see how you're using your credit card or if somebody else gave you a loan. So I feel like there is opportunity there to dig a bit deeper and maybe find ways to build trust in this marketplace and to exploit network effects, which would be really quite huge. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Perfect. In that case, I think we might move on to the next team now. Just bear with me. So we'll now have Rapper presenting their pitch as well. So whenever you're ready, you can share your slides and get straight into it.
Cool. I show you here.
Yeah. Okay. So we are Rapper. So if we go to the next slide. Our team consists of Peter, Rovlin, myself, Aisha, and Raghav, and we have created this road safety solution. Okay, cool. So car accidents are one of the most prevalent forms of accidents impacting individuals and businesses in our world today. Our solution to this problem has been to create a tool for drivers in order to avoid high-risk areas, find the safest route, and ultimately prevent accidents on the road. So Safe Roads is a tool, is a Google Chrome extension, which we can use to get a safety rating for a select number of routes, which will allow the user to choose the safest route. Yeah. So as we can see, there have been tens of thousands of road injuries, serious road injuries in the past year alone. So in order to combat this, we thought this was a major social issue that we needed to tackle, with over 1,000 deaths also happening in the past year. So our RPA solution allows users to make their own decisions based on the road safety, which they would not be able to otherwise do, as there is no product that currently does this. This will lead to lower instances of road accidents and overall provide a safer road for not only individuals and businesses. Cool. I'll hand it off to Rovlin.
Yeah. So for our target customers, we're mainly catering to businesses such as freight services, transport services, and food delivery services. We're specifically highlighting the food delivery services due to numerous fatalities on the job in relation to the growing industry as seen last year. Survive the Drive, automating the responsible research of road incidents. I'll be now handing it to Raghav, our tech lead, for the demonstration.
All right, so let's look across to this screen. Our Chrome extension sits directly on top of Google Maps, something everyone is familiar with and everyone uses from day to day. You can see Google Maps normally suggests 3 routes for you. And as you can see, our app over here, RoadSafe, sends calls to the backends, taking out data like the address and processing it to display a safety score here. This shows you the number of crashes per route per 10,000 users. A higher score represents more crashes, therefore bad. I think I'll take Gilbert Road today. It's a Chrome extension. And for more details about how it works, let's look at the architecture. Yeah, so how did we build it? How do we build it, the architecture? Well, it's quite simple. It's a Google Chrome extension sitting on top of Google Maps, as I said. We communicate with our Flash backend server, which uses a number of APIs, including the Transport New South Wales Open Data API, Google Directions, and Geocoder, to evaluate it and give us that number that we saw. But what does that number mean? Peter, take it away.
So this number is a collation of, for every road that you use, how many fatalities are caused by 10,000 users of that road. So obviously, if we have more crashes, if you use roads that have lots of crashes on them per user, we determine that there is many unsafe roads on that route. So therefore, we give it a worse rating. A lower rating is better because we have less crashes per 10,000 users. So our current limitations that we have right now is that the extension is not available on other browsers that are not Chromium based. So, but however, stuff like Chrome, Edge, and Brave are Chromium based. So the vast majority of users that use use browsers do use Chromium. Another issue that we have is that currently it is quite slow to give us our results because of strict government API requirements. We're only allowed to make a few calls, a few small amount of calls that we need to make it hard to get the results we need quickly. However, this can be overcome easily if we talk to the government, and they do have an avenue for this.
So Rob, for the business model?
Yeah, so for the business and revenue model, we have 2 versions of our application. First is the free version, which includes ads available to businesses with a limit of 5 searches a day per user. Another one is the premium version, which is a yearly subscription on the Safe Roads app for $29.99 per user, including a 30-day free trial. For our scalability, it's easily transferable. Only need to change the Live Traffic New South Wales API to be able to use in other states or countries. It can also be useful for more populated countries with a more and higher complex road system. Our direct competitor is Live Traffic New South Wales. At the moment, Live Traffic New South Wales shows all the hazards. It does not clearly advertise the crashes, so it limits the road analysis that our target users need to plan their route. So why Safe Roads? Why choose us? We're one of a kind. No existing application in the market does what we currently do. It's also easily accessible, and you can integrate it to the widely used Google Maps. So this is the timeline for the birth of our Safe Roads. We have 4 parts: product and development testing, QA testing, deployment, and product launch. For our future plans, definitely better UI and better experience. Due to our time constraints, we couldn't really improve on the UI. So that's the first thing on our list for the future plans. Secondly, the Safe Road app, specifically catering for bike and motorcycle riders, which are more vulnerable in the road.
As the lead founder, Neville quickly touched on this. It was definitely a challenge for our team making our first ever Chrome extension within less than 2 days. So definitely we would be hoping to invest in people who have more expertise in creating web apps, but especially Chrome extensions, in order to produce a more intuitive and useful UI.
Sorry, that's just time is up there. We're a bit short on time.
Anyway.
Whenever you're ready, judges, you can go ahead and ask your questions. We probably have time for 2 or 3 questions.
I've got a quick question on the technology and how broadly you've thought about the data, because it could be that the time of the day also matters. So when you're heading west, you've got the sun in your eyes, that could increase the number of crashes at that particular time, right? So you don't just necessarily want to find the number of crashes. There could be other criteria. I just use time as one of them, right? So I just wondered if you thought about what other kinds of data could make your recommendations even better.
So
yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Peter.
You can go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, so when thinking about data, that's a great question. First of all, we definitely would love. That's a great place where we could branch out with adjusting time data to based on the crashes per time. Unfortunately, that data isn't strictly available from existing APIs, but and if there's a will, there's a way. Transport New South Wales has great APIs in data collection, so I'm sure we're able to get that. But in terms of other data that could affect our predictions, one big one we saw coming through was like about if it's during a holiday or it's a weekend or it's a weekday. That's another place to look at. Unfortunately, the APIs we found within 36 hours didn't have that kind of detail that we were looking for, but it's definitely a great place to look to expand to make a customer's predictions even better.
Yeah, I mean, weather would be another one, which is why time is useful.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
I have a follow-up question on that. So I was thinking along the same lines about how Google Maps existing AI and ML models based on congestion and other things can like influence the decision made or the options given by your app, because like those are some important things to look at that add on to or take away from safety as well. And how could that influence your rankings?
So from what I understood from your question, you're asking about like congestion could cause more crashes, so therefore we should incorporate that. Is that correct?
Well, not just congestion, but in like your safety is calculated based on the number of crashes only. But for example, if your user base grew to a significant amount, maybe all users started taking the safe route, which then increased the traffic there, and maybe it's not that safe anymore or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. So one thing we incorporate is that we actually change our predictions based on the number of users on the road. So if a road is more busy, obviously it's going to have more crashes as more people. So we adjust it based on 10,000 users. While this could increase in a road being less safe, we would see it change over time because our data is based on the last year or so of data. So if more people start taking the road and becomes less dangerous, our app would change to reflect that in its predictions. But great question.
I just have a question.
Yep, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, do I have time for a question?
Yep, for sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if you guys could just walk me through like how would I actually use this product. So normally if I'm going to go somewhere, I go down, get in the car, get my phone out, open up the Google Maps app and then search where I'm going. So how would that be different if I was using your product? What would I do?
So the thing that you'd have to do is that you would have to download the Google. You would have to download the extension on your on your phone, so that is available. If you download Google Chrome on your phone, you can have extensions added onto that. And if you use the mobile version, so if you just browse onto Google Maps from Google Chrome, you would be able to do just the same thing where you just look at it and you'll get your answer.
But definitely adding functionality to the Google Maps app, which I know is widely popular, is definitely one place we want to look to move forward. Hopefully with the partnership with Google, we would be able to adjust stuff directly in the app to allow people to make more informed choices about the routes they take.
Awesome. I think that's all the time we have, unfortunately, for you guys. We will probably just move on to the next team who will be pitching, which is KEK. So whenever you're ready, you guys can share your screen and proceed with your pitch.
Just a quick mic check. Can you guys hear me?
Yep. Yeah, can you hear me?
Sounds great.
Hi everyone, we're Team KEK and our mission is to use innovation to solve genuine needs in our ever-evolving world. Despite the news of COVID-19 overflowing our media channels, being trapped in our bubbles of lockdown and quarantine, we often forget the harsh reality faced by our global frontline healthcare workforce. Rooms upon rooms of innocent people struggling to breathe, nurses holding a phone by each patient's bedside for final goodbyes. These are the stories you find when you dig a bit deeper into the experiences of our doctors and nurses. Stressed and fatigued, your attention to detail decreases, and the risk of potentially fatal errors increases. Overworked staff are wasting their time and energy with simple tasks, unable to deliver high-quality healthcare where it truly matters. We wanted to create a solution to ease that workload and give back the most valuable thing, time. Time that could be spent on patients in critical condition. Our RPA system is a robot that autonomously moves around the hospital to deliver items to healthcare workers, alleviating and reducing physical strain. KECBOX carries common hospital supplies in its magnetic lock drawers, and nurses can request specific items to be delivered to specific rooms and wards in the hospital. KECBOX will be controlled using Arduinos connected to 2 DC motors and 3 ultrasonic sensors fixed to the base of the device for automated navigation.
So how does KECBOX magic work? Well, it all starts with our KECBOX app. Hospital workers are able to sign in using their work email and password to make an item request, which will be sent to the hospital's central KECBOX server. With a simplistic design and easy to use interface, workers require little training to choose their ward and room number, search for a specific item, or simply click on a recent order to add to their list. You could order for multiple destinations at a time. And so once you are happy with your order, you can review and confirm your request and have KECBOX deliver the items to you right away.
So to bring some context to the KECBOX, we developed a simulation that shows off its behavior inside of a mock hospital ward. Similar to the mobile app, you can select items you want, choose a destination, and request the delivery. Multiple orders can be queued at once, and the KECBOX handles all the pathfinding in a safe manner, deciding which robot goes where with the help of lots and lots of queues. In the simulation, robots travel to a storage room to pick up supplies, proceeding to carry them to the requested rooms. In reality, there will be a staff member loading the KECBOX before it travels to its destination, and another worker will unload it and when it receives the goods. We decided to implement our RPA to focus on the movement of supplies rather than the loading processes to reduce our costs. Here we've got the essentials being delivered, including meals, blankets, water, and whatever else the workers need to take care of their patients. Once the KECBOX has finished its requested orders, it automatically returns to its base station.
KECBOX utilizes robotic process automation to improve the healthcare experience for both patients and healthcare workers. The affordable minimalistic design caters specifically to underfunded, understaffed hospitals which need KECBOX the most. KECBOX replaces monotonous menial tasks in healthcare, providing workers with the opportunity to pay more personal attention to patients, while also preventing fatigue from overworking. Furthermore, a compact design and cautious object avoidance and mapping algorithms catered specifically for hospital environments ensure maximum safety. We have currently completed most of our research and software development. In the next 12 months, we aim to have completed most hardware manufacturing and release the beta version of the KECBOX app while commencing our initial rollout in California. This is followed by collecting data through client feedback and surveys to aid in optimization, further debugging, and upgrades. Finally, we aim to expand our outreach to other American states like Illinois and Alabama and begin exploring international partnerships.
So our business model is based on highly affordable devices that can be easily manufactured and scaled. So since we're aiming to reduce the workloads on a very underfunded sector, it's critical we keep costs low to make the product as accessible as possible to maximize its impact. So pricing is at just $500 a unit with an additional $10 a month subscription fee per hospital. So focusing on the California healthcare sector gives us access to a large consumer market to drive unit sales, while subscription revenue will help maintain cash flow. And our simple manufacturing process using off-the-shelf parts and a flat pack design allows future scalability into other regions and sectors. So while KECBOX does feature some risks, Much of these can be mitigated with effective procedures. So staff training can minimize safety and sanitation concerns, with the potential of future automated sanitation procedures as we further develop the product. Security risks will be initially minimized by focusing on delivering non-critical items such as blankets and water. However, with further development of a lock mechanism, we'll be able to deliver drugs and medical equipment as needed. So join us now to give back to our healthcare workers. Thank you for listening, and we will now be open for questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, you guys. We'll just have Hong Jiang ask the first question if you're okay with that.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't have any questions to ask as I'm not expert in robot. Yeah, just one thing comes into my mind. What kind of sensors are you going to use? Ultrasonic, and are there any optical sensors you want to install in the robot so it can recognize patient's face or doctor's face?
Yes.
These kind of more capabilities.
Yeah, that's a really good question. We do have ultrasonic sensors, and we also plan on using an accelerometer, which will tell us if the bot has toppled. In the unlikely scenario, if the bot has toppled. Considering computer vision was one of our factors that we took in while looking at security, because we only want authorized people to access the materials in the robot. That's why everyone has an app. And in the future, we're considering having the robot scan a QR code. In that case, we'll have to put a camera in it. But patients don't directly interact with the robot because either they might be medically unfit to, or it's just not a human interaction. So only the employees of the hospital interact with the robot, and they will all have the app installed. So
yeah, just to continue on from that, I think at the moment we wanted to keep our costs as low as possible because we wanted to make it affordable for healthcare systems that are really pressured. And so by adding like facial recognition or like high-tech solutions, it makes the costs way higher and less affordable. So we kind of just wanted to go with the most basic option so that it can be as widespread as possible.
Well, there are cheap hardware like Raspberry Pi, which has integrated small machine learning model for face recognition. They're pretty cheap to purchase. So I think that might be considered as part of option for this.
Yeah, it's definitely something to take under consideration.
Yep.
Awesome. I think we might have time for one more question, and then we'll move on to the final pitch.
All right. So I had a follow-up to the Raspberry Pi comment. Raspberry Pis and Arduinos are really good for prototyping, right? In a production setting, there might be limitations. At some point in time, what is your plan to move away from using these prototyping frameworks to actually just building your own boards and making a better, more robust production application?
Yeah, so we have Arduino boards now, again, for a similar reason, because they're cheap and they work. But you're right, they're not ideal if we're considering a large scale manufacturing. In that case, we are looking into moving into TM4C boards, which are much more advanced, or eventually, after like enough revenue, we can look into R&D for our own microprocessors.
Yeah, and just to add on, we want to kind of do a bit more user-centered research and get their feedback before we do some further development into more expensive technologies.
Awesome. I think we might just wrap it up there for you guys today. The final team who will be presenting in the final round is Push to Main. So whenever you guys are ready, you guys can share screen and begin your pitch.
Sure. Yep, just awesome. Just checking you guys can hear me. Okay, perfect. Can you guys see the screen?
Yes.
Sweet. Okay. Awesome. So we'll get started. Hi, we're Team Push to Main, and today we'll be presenting our product, UHealth. So this is John, and he's reaching the age where he's forgotten to take his medications for the last 2 days, and his condition is worsening. His wife, Jane, is suffering from chronic pain, which makes it hard for her to get to the local pharmacy for medicine. And accessing medication can be difficult and time consuming because doctors have long wait times and prescriptions are often only available in physical form. And traveling to a pharmacy adds an extra barrier for the elderly and patients with chronic health conditions. With the onset of COVID, these issues have only become more pronounced as the demand on our health system has increased.
John and Jane have tried existing solutions such as TimeCap and PillPack, but they both have their respective shortcomings. TimeCap is a physical alarm that attaches to a pill bottle, but it can only be affixed to pill bottles and won't work for tablets and topical medication. Also, because it's limited to one bottle, John needs several TimeCaps to stay on top of all his medication. Jill uses PillPack, which is an online pharmaceutical service delivering medication to patients, but it lacks a notification system and she can't choose between prices and location of purchase. Our vision is to improve the end-to-end experience for elderly patients and those with chronic conditions. UHealth improves on the status quo by integrating robotic process automation so that John and Jane only need to capture an image of their prescription in order to get reminders, purchase prescription medication, and schedule doctor appointments. So I'll move on to Felix, who will be sharing a live demonstration.
Yep, sure. So the core features of UHealth is extracting the dosage, medication, and upcoming appointment information from a user's prescription, allowing the user to sync their calendar with upcoming appointments, autonomously purchase medicine, and also create reminders for the users to take medication. I'll go on a demo. So on our homepage, as you can see, there are 4 main features: upload, calendar, medicine, and purchase. Going to upload, I can now upload a file. So let's say I upload an example of a prescription. It uses Google Cloud Vision API to extract key data, and it can also highlight the key data. And using this key data, we have 3 options for the user. They can now schedule an appointment. To view the appointment, we go to this tab here, and then just letting it load on the calendar. Yep, and then the appointment is here. It can also give us reminders. Yep. Oh, sorry, no, the calendar. And then we can also set reminders. So going to the reminders page on the medicine page, letting it load. And then we can see that the medicine has been added automatically into our medication. And we can also have reminders, as you can see on the bottom right-hand corner. And let's say John wants to purchase this medicine. We can go to a tab, which will allow him to purchase medicine. Just clearing the reminder. And as you can see on our purchase medicine tab, the prescription is already set into the page. And then using the Google Maps API, we can view Google Maps. Let's say he wants to click purchase medicine from Bob's local chemist. The medicine's already inputted, and he clicks buy, and then it appears in his past medication history. I'll now pass on to Sarah, who will talk about our business model.
For the initial launch, our focus will be on patients and connecting them with pharmacies. Our business model will center pharmacies as our primary source of revenue, providing them a subscription model for customers which will guarantee consistent and increased revenue. Patients will be able to access the portal at no cost. As we scale, we will expand from local pharmacies to more locations to provide our services to a greater number of patients. In the short term, we will be partnering with local pharmacies and incorporating their payment systems. For example, Chemist Warehouse has a portal that we can integrate with which allows users to submit e-prescriptions and purchase medicines online. We will also incorporate supply chains and medical manufacturers as sources for medications to reduce costs for the users of our platform. As we scale and increase partnerships with pharmacies, in the long term, we can create a portal for them that provides a payment platform for those who want to transition to an online landscape. By doing so, we can also harness big data and health trends to partner with supply chains.
Looking towards the future, we intend to make the portal available natively on mobile devices, integrate family members into the system by providing them with notifications, and integrate doctors as well by automatically transcribing and summarizing appointments, as well as automating prescriptions. Patients will be able to automatically schedule regular appointments with their doctor, and the doctor will be able to upload electronic prescriptions directly. These prescriptions will integrate with the existing functionality to provide patients with a fully automated end-to-end experience. All medications will be purchased and delivered automatically alongside reminders to take them. As the user demand grows, we intend to use cloud platforms such as Amazon Web Services and Google Cloud Platform, which have built-in scaling and automatic load balancing. By implementing backend functionality using serverless architecture solutions such as AWS Lambda functions and managed databases such as Google Cloud Databases, our platform remains elastic and is able to scale up and down based on usage.
UHealth combines all of these features into an integrated package that's concise and easy on the eyes. By applying the benefits of RPA to healthcare access, UHealth is committed to your personal well-being so that patients like John and Jane can stay on top of their treatment and get access to the medication needed.
And that wraps up our presentation.
Awesome, perfect. In that case, we'll just pass it over for the judges to ask their questions. Marianne or Rahul, did you guys have any questions?
I'll let Marianne go first.
Thank you. I guess, you know, this is really great. I do wonder if there's sort of anything out there that people are using, and also, you know, how difficult would it be to sort of expand into other areas like, you know, blood tests and things like that. Last time I was at the doctor, my form had to be faxed because of a COVID situation. So, and I was very surprised by that. So I just wondered if you've really thought beyond, you know, this particular application and who your actual competitors are in this space.
Yeah, so I can take that. So currently, because our solution is limited to sort of pharmaceuticals and the delivery of medicine, our research on the current competitors were essentially platforms that let you either only monitor when your medicine needs to be taken or remotely purchase medicine to be delivered to your door. But there was never really a integrated service. And also it lacks the integration of RPA. And so with the expansion into other areas, such as you said, blood tests and that thing, we have also considered getting doctors in and integrating their services with ours. And so I'll pass it on to Declan to actually elaborate more on that.
Yes, we do hope to integrate doctors into the platform in the future, and by letting them upload things such as prescriptions, and you could also incorporate things such as blood tests as well. That would totally be reasonable and extend quite nicely from what our idea was. And then we also have scheduling functionality. So we could extend our scheduling functionality with tests as well as appointments.
So I have a question. How do you intend on partnering with existing health record applications that exist? Say, for example, in Australia, there's My Health Record and Medicare, to acquire more of the patient's details, and if that's even valid to do. And how do you intend on making the case for? So you said that this is primarily based on the users that find it hard to go to the hospital or to the pharmacy because of their age or mobility. But those people tend to also have an issue of using technology these days. How do you make it? How do you intend on making it easier for them to use your app, or like provide them with training or support?
Sure, I'll try give this one a go. So I think our initial idea was really branched out of COVID as well. A lot of the medical, especially GPs, a lot of it is on telehealth. So I guess our initial focus was to allow, I guess, patients over telehealth to, I guess, quite efficiently and quite quickly purchase medicine or online. And then with the purchase functionality, it would also, I guess, allow the pharmacies to also directly, I guess, ship the product to the patient at the end. And I guess to answer your question about how would we help, I guess, some of the users who are less knowledgeable about technology, I guess it's possible to, when Declan said partnering with doctors and GPs, potentially have leaflets that teach some of these patients how to use our app. And then hopefully that way we can, I guess, expand to a wider audience.
Awesome. I think we might just wrap it there for today. So thank you guys. Thanks to all the teams that were pitching in the final round. You all did a really amazing job. That just concludes now the final rounds of pitching. So it was really incredible to see the kind of work that everyone was producing over 2 days. And it was such a high and intense pressure sort of situation. So awesome job. We'll now move on to let the judges deliberate in their breakout room. So in the meantime, just sit tight and the winners will be announced very, very soon. Oh. Okay, awesome.
Claire, I think you might just need to reload the slides if you can, and share audio when you can as well.
Yeah, can you just see this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the previous slides, yeah, this is fine. I'll share my the Spotify playlist as well.
That was tiring.
Hey everyone, welcome back. So the judges have finally completed their deliberations, and now it's time for the super exciting moment when we are announcing the winners of our hackathon. So in third place, we have Team Keck. So congratulations, you guys will be taking home some WIT merch as well as $400 in cash. In second place, we have Team Rapper. So good job, guys. You'll be taking home $600 in cash, and you'll each be receiving a mentoring session with Google. And finally, for the long-awaited first place, we have Baby Bird. So you guys will be taking home $1,000, and you'll be each receiving a mentoring session with ResMed and a Google Nest each. So a huge congratulations to our top 3 teams. We'll all be contacting you via email just to get some further details and give you some further information about your prizes, and a really big commendation towards Samsung Tech as well as Push to Main for your amazing solutions and pitches. So this officially concludes our hackathon. Before you go, please make sure to fill out this feedback form by scanning the QR codes, just so we can get some insight into your experience and see any areas of improvement. We know it's been a long 2 days. And we'd also like to thank Google, ResMed, VMware, Quantium, and the MCIC again for all the hard work they've put into making this event a reality. We've had so much collaboration and effort and time from our mentors and judges and all the sponsor representatives. So a huge thank you for being so generous with your time and efforts. So that wraps it up for today. Thanks again, everyone, for coming with us. And yeah, feel free to hop off the call and we'll be in contact with all of the winners.